Joel Shoemake here to talk about The Lion Became a Lamb, and boy am I excited to talk about this. I love doing musicals, I love creating original musicals, I love working with great writers and great arrangers, so in this case, boy, it was a real celebration for me. We start off with the song, The Lion Became a Lamb, the ICM Songwriter of the Year, Russ Murphy's song, and just the idea that we've got this great Savior who could, in a fell swoop, just wipe us all out, who can't look upon our sin and yet chooses to save us by way of being the lamb that was sacrificed for us. There's enough meat there for 100 musicals, and truthfully, probably 100 musicals have been made on that idea. But then we took it a step further and said, let's make it a little more relatable. So this is a bit of a story, a very simple drama of a grandson who's forced to spend a little time with his grandfather. Obviously, the grandson isn't in the mood for it. He'd rather be doing other things, as a lot of grandsons are wont to do. And the wise grandfather, sitting reading his Bible, the idea starts coming up of, what are you reading? I'm reading the Easter story. Oh, well, could you tell me a little bit about it? Okay, let's start with Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. No, let's start with Genesis. And from there we have this story of Easter that's more than just birth and death, resurrection, and we're set. It's this greater story of man and our birth and our sin and the reason that Christ had to come for us, and then the glory of Christ coming for us, His birth, and then His life, and His reason, His death and resurrection. And the important thing in this musical is why, the why. And we use the eyes of the grandson who, like a lot of young people, has seen his share of Easter musicals and has heard his share of songs, and yet still really doesn't get it. And we use his eyes to see this story in a new way through the teaching of the grandfather. This was just such a blessing to be a part of. This can be done with a drama right out front with your choir lined up in the back and your set. It can also be acted out each of the different scenes. Now be careful, there's an Adam and Eve scene, and so you might want to think about exactly how we're going to work that one. Perhaps some bushes across the bottom. But beyond that, we're looking at a really fun musical. I call it easy to moderate. It takes a little bit of time to learn, but once they learn it, your choir is going to love it. I hope that you enjoy this offering from us.